Hey guys, welcome back to my channel where I cover nostalgic, obscure, otherwise strange content. Welcome back to another episode of I am already in my pajamas, but I really want to complain about a movie that's really bad, so here we are. Also, if you can hear rain, it's because it's pouring outside, like, seriously, so hopefully I don't lose power because I really want you guys to see this video. You remember Beauty and the Beast, right? Classic movie. Part of so many people's childhoods. My personal favorite Disney movie. Means so much to me to this day. Love it. Watch it still. Probably I'm gonna watch it while I'm editing this video for my own sanity. Well, this movie that we're talking about today is not that. This is a knockoff of that. It is like one of those like knockoff direct-to-VHS movies that they made in the 90s, trying to capitalize on the success of Disney's Beauty and the Beast. For as much as I can tell, there isn't a whole lot that you can find online about Goodtimes Home Video. That's the name of the company that made this movie, Goodtimes Home Video, which I can't put my finger on why sounds wrong. I don't like that name. But that's not what's important right now. What's important is that they made just a lot of really bad direct-to-VHS movies in the 90s. I think at least most of them were made in the 90s. I found a whole playlist where somebody archived like what looks like most, if not all of them on YouTube. And I decided to start with their horrible rendition of Beauty and the Beast because I chose chaos today. Ugh, it breaks my heart. I love Beauty and the Beast. This movie is just, oh, it's so bad. Oh, if this was your version of Beauty and the Beast growing up, I'm so sorry.
You'd never think to look at him, how beautiful he seems to me. He's good to me, to say the very least.
This is like the only song in the whole movie, and I don't like it. Also, we're 2 seconds in, I know. The Beast looks like Donkey Kong? The Beast looks like Donkey Kong. I don't make the rules. I'm just the messenger. Yeah, so for some reason we start with the dancing scene and then flash back, like that show Flashpoint, but there's no murder going on. It's just really bad animation. Almost as if they knew that everybody was going to be expecting a big show-stopping musical number because of the classic Beauty and the Beast. They made it rain in the beginning when Belle is walking through town, just so that renders any hope of a musical number outside null and void. Now, to be fair, they went more of the route of bringing the original story to life. The original fairy tale, it follows that structure a lot more, which is something that Disney didn't do. However, I think Disney was correct in doing Beauty and the Beast the way that they did it, because you'll see. We'll get into that.
Oh, hello, sisters.
So like the original fairy tale, in this version, Beauty has two evil stepsisters. Pretty identically to Cinderella's evil stepsisters. They're mean.
How are you?
Apparently better than you, Beauty.
They're rude. This one hates cats, which I'm not cool with.
You look like a drowned rat.
They roll up in their carriage and they're just like, hey, Beauty, you getting wet out here in the rain like a loser?
You like to visit the poor section of the city. Your clothes are perfect. You fit in with all the beggars who live there.
Like, you like to help out the poor? Lame. How dare you do charity work to help people that are less fortunate than you?
Look what you've done to me, Alicia.
And then even less important than Alicia and Pauline, the stepsisters,
Oh, don't make such a fuss, Pauline.
are Beauty's two brothers?
They're thieves, Father.
Which I don't even remember from the original fairy tale, because, like, they literally just don't matter. Sorry, guys. You're not real, so there's no feelings to be hurt, but, like, I don't know why they're here.
Oh, this can't be.
This is Beauty's dad, who instead of being an eccentric, interesting inventor, and this is an idiot.
I know these clerks who run our offices in these cities. I hired them all myself.
He's kind of like a hapless, failed businessman who's just lost all of his wealth.
Are you sure? Oh, they can't be thieves. I trusted them.
He's like, they can't be thieves. I trusted them. My judge of character has never been wrong once. I have never put faith in someone who didn't deserve it. That's scientifically impossible.
Our ships, though. We still have our lovely ships.
Something tells me that they don't have their lovely ships anymore.
Tell him, Nathan. Tell him. All 3 ships are a month overdue.
So all their investments have gone bad, and all of their ships are presumably at the bottom of the ocean somewhere. It's very sad.
We still owe a great deal of money, Father.
I will not cheat anyone.
See, I didn't think you were going to, but then the way that you just said it out of nowhere, he's like, well, we got a lot of bills to pay, Dad, and he's just like, I won't cheat anyone, you hear me? It makes me feel like he's definitely gonna try to cheat someone.
And how is my beauty today?
Also, I like that in this version, Beauty has siblings that are all named like Alicia, Pauline, Nathan, and then her name is just Beauty. Like, you know what I mean? All perfectly fine names, but how do you jump from Beauty to Nathan? She's definitely the favorite child.
I've spent the day among the less fortunate bringing them food.
I'm afraid it's our own family which will soon be in need of help.
So she gets in and she's like, hey, Dad, I just had the most rewarding day helping those less fortunate. And her dad's just like, guess who's less fortunate? And hands her a card, and it had like his mirror in it. That he didn't do that, but that's kind of the energy of what he did do. I kind of picture that, just like, hey, guess what? We're poor now.
Oh, stop making such a fuss.
Who's making a fuss? Was it the chickens? Because she says stop making a fuss, and then there's like this really long pause and cut to her gathering eggs, but there's not like any loud roosters in the sound mixing, so I'm just a little bit confused.
But it's a beautiful day, Alicia, and you've already slept half of it away.
Oh, what's so beautiful about it?
So the stepsisters are pretty much downers, and Beauty's trying to make the best of it.
Not so much as a single young man is called upon us in a year since Father lost all his money. I'm going back to sleep.
Did she just randomly fall on the floor? I didn't catch that the first time. Why? So Beauty's running in slow motion.
And how are you today, Missy?
She apparently can talk to cows now. She goes and brings the guys their food. They're outside trying to farm, and bless them, they don't look like they know what they're doing. They kind of look like the Rose family from Schitt's Creek, trying to do anything, any kind of manual labor.
Beauty, Beauty, wait until you hear the good news.
But then the brother runs up and he's like, hey, guess what? We might not be poor anymore.
One of Father's ships we thought lost has docked in the harbor.
So, seeing as they might have some cargo in this resurfaced ship, their dad packs a bag and tries to go to, well, he doesn't try to go, he does go. He's packing his bag in preparation to go to the port to see if the ship actually brought back anything valuable.
I want jewels, Father. Rings and necklaces and a diamond brooch.
And so the evil stepsisters, because they're evil stepsisters, like, want to buy everything with this money that they don't even know that they have.
And what can I bring you as a gift from the city, Beauty?
And Beauty, considering that she's just so pure and humble, she just asks for one rose.
Oh, I don't know, Father. I suppose a rose would be nice. I do miss having roses since we moved out here.
Just a single rose. That's where the original rose motif apparently came in, was this part of the original story. Although I think an enchanted rose is way cooler.
I suppose simple people are happy with simple things.
The sisters are just like, you want a flower? You dumbass. So the dad gets to the port, and the ship isn't looking so good. It kind of looks like the Black Pearl, but like in the first movie, in the first Pirates of the Caribbean movie, when the Black Pearl is cursed, and at night in the moonlight it turns into like a zombie pirate ship. It kind of looks like that.
Let me just look at my cargo, Harbor Master, and we'll talk afterwards.
They go below deck and they realize that literally everything has been destroyed.
My spices! They're ruined!
So sad.
These tea leaves are useless.
I don't know why my brain thinks like this, but when he realized that like all of the loose tea was just ruined, And he's standing like knee deep in water. I kind of was just half hoping that he just looked over and like he was just standing in tea, because the tea had just kind of been like brewing in the seawater that whole time. I don't know, man. This movie is really boring, and I was just trying to keep myself occupied.
My children had such high hopes. Oh, how can I tell them we're as poor as when I left them?
So now he's, riding back home through the forest and just being like, man, can't believe I'm still poor. That sucks.
Rain.
He has this weird beef with the sky.
Go ahead and rain, you miserable sky! No worse misfortune can befall me this night.
I don't think you should say that when it's like actively lightning outside. Like, I feel like you're gonna get hit by a lightning bolt, sir. But then a lightning bolt hits a tree and catches it on fire, and then all hell breaks loose. They just go running through the forest. They're lost.
This reminds me of the enchanted forest my mother told me about when I was a boy. She said they were three-eyed trolls and man-eating giants and magical creatures. It was probably just a story.
I like how he says probably. Although he is about to meet, like, an enchanted beast, so I can't really judge him too harshly.
A castle in the midst of the forest.
You all know this part of the story. He finally finds his way to the castle. It looks super mega haunted, but he goes in anyway.
Will you rest in a warm stable tonight?
He's just like, huh? Door opening itself in the middle of this spooky forest castle? Doesn't seem suspicious to me at all. He goes into the castle, which for some reason to my eyes looks like a public library, which isn't a bad thing. It's just not how I pictured the castle to look on the inside. The doors are very small for a castle. There's food, and he just randomly is like, cool, I'm gonna eat this random food that I found in a stranger's house. Totally not rude. And then, like, the napkin just magically, like, floats onto his lap, and he's just like, huh.
Ooh, most considerate of you.
Isn't that convenient?
This day has worn me out. Well, perhaps my host will show himself to me in the morning.
And then he apparently just, like, pulls up a guest room and sleeps it off until the morning. So that's a thing.
Still no master of the castle. Thank you!
And he, like, says goodbye to nobody, even though he knows somebody must be there. And he, like, wants them to come out so that he can talk to them.
But by now, my children must be worrying, so I must take my leave.
Which is understandable, but then he kind of, like, leaves slowly, like, okay, I'm actually going now. It's like he's doing that trend on TikTok where you, like, jokingly, like, leave down a trail of, like, I don't know, something. Like, I hope a Supernatural fan doesn't follow me home, and, like, leave, like, seasons of Supernatural on DVD. I don't know how to TikTok. You know what I mean, right? You've seen that trend? Anyway.
Yeah, at least I'll be able to bring back what Beauty asked for.
But on his way out, he sees a rose bush, and he's like, well, at least I'll be able to bring Beauty that rose that she wants. And this is something I can't fully blame this movie particularly for, because again, this is from the original fairy tale, but this is something that I've never understood. He's already eaten the beast's food and camped out in the beast's castle overnight, and the beast does not care that he did all that without so much as a please, but the second he picks one single rose.
So this is how you repay all my kindnesses?
Beast is like, wait just a goddamn minute. He looks like Donkey Kong. I'm so sorry.
To steal what I love most in the world, my roses. You'll pay for this with your life.
So, the Beast just straight up is going to kill him. Unlike the Disney version where he just, throws him in a dungeon, which isn't cool, but, like, he's just straight up about to murder him.
Oh, please, my dear lord,
Don't call me lord!
Beauty's dad, he doesn't have a name in this one. And I refuse to call him Maurice, because I will not share the name of such a beloved character with anybody in this movie.
See, I took the rose only as a gift from my daughter, Beauty.
A daughter, you say?
But he's like, I'm just trying to bring a flower back to my kid. And Beast is like, oh, you have a daughter, you say, which is super creepy. The Beast is way creepier in this version.
You may go home and ask Beauty if she will die in your place.
Go back home and tell your daughter to take your place, and I'll murder her instead. See, the Beast was so lovable in the original. I wasn't even scared of him as a little kid. He was so, like, sweet and nice, and Beauty deciding to take her dad's place was 100% her choice because she was brave and looking out for her family. And in this version, he's just creepy and weird and looks like Donkey Kong.
But I tell you this, if neither you nor Beauty return, I shall seek you out and destroy you both. Now go!
So he goes back home. He gives Beauty her rose.
Father, you brought me my rose!
Cherish it, my dear, for it will cost me my life.
And then he brings up the fact that he's been sentenced to death in a very awkward way. I guess there's no good way to bring that up in conversation, but he does it in a very clunky way, if you ask me.
And I'll tell you about the terrible beast I met, and the price I must pay for having plucked this rose.
Wow, not to guilt trip her or anything, damn.
Robert and I could go with you. Between the three of us, we could overpower the beast and kill it.
So his two sons try to be helpful one time in this entire movie, and they're like, we could go back with you and, like, fight the beast so that he won't kill you.
Nathan, you would not say that if you saw the beast. It is beyond imagination.
And the dad's like, no, that's unthinkable. I couldn't ask my kids to fight a beast. Which is odd, considering what his next move is.
My precious Beauty. Now I know I've done the right thing by letting him kill me instead of...
First of all, why are you saying it like you really had to mull it over before you decided to die instead of letting your kid take the fall for you? Secondly, he totally brought that up because he wanted her to offer, right? Like, there's no way, like, he's like, oh... gee, if only there was some other way. It's not like the beast said you could get killed for me.
It's Beauty, isn't it?
So then, instead of Beauty being, like, super brave and, like, going to find her dad and save the day, again, of her own free will, in this version, her sisters just bully her.
The beast said she could go in your place. It's all your fault. You had to have a rose.
They're just like, psh, you're expendable. You go die.
No, Beauty, I won't let you do this.
And then after he brought it up, her dad's like, oh no, I couldn't possibly let her do that.
If you love me, you'll let me do this.
And then he doesn't put up much of a fight. But he still, like, goes back to the castle with her, which is, like, super unnecessary in this version. I don't know. And then the beast just comes walking in, like... I guess that's a keyframing issue, but he walks very strangely. Everybody does, but, like, he's such an imposing figure that when he walks and he just kind of glides, it's very funny looking.
But you seemed not so brave when first I entered this room.
I admit you strike fear in my heart, Beast.
I admit you strike fear into my heart. Did you just call him ugly? Like, he's trying to kill her, so, like, fair, but, like... What a gentle way to say that.
I see now why you named her Beauty.
Just stop. Just, why are you so weird, Beast?
You may rest here tonight, old man, but in the morning you must leave.
So he says to her dad, like, you can stay over the night, but that's it. I'm gonna kill your daughter in the morning and you gotta get out of here. And then he stomps off.
Father, it's a king's fortune.
So the next morning... Beast has given Beauty's dad just, like, a ton of money. Just, like, 2 huge chests of, like, gold and jewels. Which is another thing right out of the original fairy tale, but in the original fairy tale, killing her was never on the table. It was just, like, she has to live here forever, like in the Disney version. And the whole thing was an allegory for, like, arranged marriages.
It is only fitting. The loss of one so precious as you will be great.
But in this version, the way that it's, like, presented, it just seems like the Beast is trying to give him a thank you gift for murder, which is super weird.
I'll not leave without...
Please, Father, don't make this more difficult than it already is.
The dialogue, though. Don't make this more difficult than it already is. That's what you say when you're breaking up with somebody in a soap opera. That's not something you say when, like, you're about to be executed and you're talking to your dad. And then, for what I think might be one of the only times in the whole movie, the Beast loses his grouchy eyes for 1 second, and his eyebrows go up, and he seems to have more than just the one emotion, which is anger.
Oh, hot. Oh, so hot. Oh, I better hurry. I just better hurry.
Again, who's talking? I'm confused. So that night, Beauty is sitting at the dining room table, still thinking she's about to be executed.
I'm ready. I don't have any regrets, and I'm not going to scream.
God, this is such a dark version.
I may have my faults, but my cooking's never been known to make anyone scream.
And then this lady shows up. She's the one who was talking a second ago. She's like the housekeeper. Instead of in the classic Beauty and the Beast, where there's, like a whole castle staff and they're all, they've all been turned into magical objects. There's just one lady in this one. She's very nice, but it definitely feels like they were trying to cut down on models to save money.
The name's Clara. I'm the cook. I'm also the housekeeper, the gardener, and in a pinch, I can do a bit of magic.
Oh, and she can do a little bit of magic. I feel like the Beast could use somebody who could do magic, seeing as he's, been cursed or whatever. But, the whole candle lighting thing is cool too.
I mean, I thought he was going to
Kill you?
So she's like, where's the Beast? And then the Beast just pops up and he's like, maha, hit his eye.
I frightened you, didn't I?
Well, she probably is frightened of you, but it's not really because of your Nintendo aesthetic. It's really more of the fact that you've been threatening to kill her all day.
But I thought you meant to kill me.
I cannot bring myself to do it.
He admits, like, almost in a defeated tone of voice that he can't bring himself to kill her, so now she's just gonna live there forever.
Thank you for sparing my life, Beast.
This is such a weird and unnecessary shot.
Perhaps someday you will be my wife.
Okay, hang on, buddy, slow down. It's moving a little bit fast. Ease into it a little bit. Like, the original Beast at least had some game.
How could one such as yourself think of being the wife to a beast like me?
He just spends a lot of time having a pity party for himself. Like I guess the original Beast does too, but like he has no other personality trait. So that's just all he talks about is like feeling sorry for himself for being a beast. Ah!
Filled with holes. Oh, this castle is infested with moths,
Clara, oh, it's only you.
Of course it's me.
Well, you can't just jump out at people like that. Yeah, so the Beast and Beauty don't really have any, like, bonding moments like they did in the original one, where, like, she teaches him to read or anything. She just, like, goes into her room and there's, like, some ugly dresses in there, and she's just like, aw, that's nice of him. And then that night, this lady shows up.
Hello, Beauty. I am the fairy of the castle.
I mean, every castle has a fairy, obviously.
And you've come to tell me Beast is really kind and gentle, no matter what he looks like on the outside?
And I love this. She's like, oh, so you've come here to tell me that, the moral of the story is not to judge the Beast for how he looks on the outside, but to, pay attention to who he is on the inside and his kindness and how that's really the thing that's most important when it comes to all human beings, because that's the moral of the story. And the fairy godmother's just like,
No, I come to warn you not to be fooled by him.
Oh, no, I'm here to tell you to absolutely judge a book by its cover and judge him completely based on how he looks on the outside.
He may act gently, but it is only to hide a heart of stone.
Huh?
It can't be.
And Beauty's just kind of like, huh, that was weird, and then moves on with her life. So the next day, she's picking flowers with Clara, the housekeeper.
Who do you think has to plant, water, and fertilize these flowers?
Who's complaining about how many flowers they have.
What do you think of Beast?
And then she's like, can you tell me, like, what do you think about this Beast guy?
Honey, I make it a point never to talk about my boss.
See, I get you, Clara, but it doesn't sound like a very good character reference for Beast, you know what I mean? So Beauty's eating dinner, and Beast, he's not eating with her, he's just staring at her creepy-like, and just watching her eat.
Why do you never eat with me?
You eat as a human does. I am a beast, and I must eat as a beast does.
I mean, you can't be that beast-like. You're wearing shoes.
Will you come out onto the balcony with me?
So then they go out onto the balcony and dance. It's not as cute as the original.
You're not cold.
I'm never cold when you're near, Beast.
Then come closer and dance with me.
Ugh. We get this scene again, which is just recycled shots from the beginning, but without the song over top of the sound. Was that a sentence? I think that was a sentence. Moving on.
There are many men more monstrous than you.
Yeah, there's no Gaston in this version, so like there's nothing to juxtapose Beast and be like, see, this person is attractive on the outside, but they're ugly on the inside. But then there's Beast, who's a good guy. Like, there's none of that. There's no, like, there's no moral. They were just like, psh, that doesn't matter.
This has been a glorious night, Beast. How can I thank you?
By being my wife.
So he just keeps asking her to marry him, and she just keeps trying to, like, gently
Beast, I will always be your friend.
put him in the friend zone, I guess.
And yet there is nothing I would refuse you.
Then let me visit my father.
So he's like, you could have anything you want. And she's like, well, I'd like to leave, please.
You seek to take advantage of me in a weak moment.
And he's like, aw, that's not fair. Anything but that. And she's like, okay.
You do not know what you ask. If you leave me, then I shall die of loneliness.
Yeah, I don't want you to leave, because if you leave, I'll die of loneliness. Another very lame plot point from the original fairy tale.
Just give me 1 week to visit my family.
And so she's like, I'll only be gone a week. So he's like, fine, take this magic ring,
When you awaken in the morning, you will be with your family.
turn it around, and then you'll wake up tomorrow morning at home.
And now to bed. And when I awaken, I'll see Father.
Which she reiterates to herself just so that we get to hear it a second time. And that night she has a very weird dream of like almost prancercising through the forest,
This is a golden opportunity for you, Beauty.
where she sees the fairy godmother lady again. And she tells her, and I kid you not, you can't go back to the Beast because he's going to kill you when a year is up.
He told me.
He lies. He will let you live in this castle 1 year. Then when he is tired of you, he will kill you like he has the others.
Yeah. You know, like a wholesome fairy tale for children.
Many young women have come before you, Beauty. They thought the Beast was gentle too. Now, only their spirits remain.
Good lord, like I know those fairy tales are messed up, but like they're not supposed to stay messed up after they've been adapted. But anyway, she gets home. To a much nicer home because, you know, of all that money her dad got when he sold out and let her try to die for him.
Beauty.
He's like pleasantly surprised to see her, but he doesn't seem like he's been that worried. I guess he's just had too much drip to like worry. Also, what is this facial expression that she has right here? She looks so confused.
But Robert, I promised Beast I could only stay for 1 week. He treats me tenderly, with affection.
So she tells them that she's gonna go back in a week because the Beast is actually really chill now. I mean, we haven't really seen much of that, but apparently she's convinced, so...
Oh boy, it's so unfair that Beauty should be happier than we are.
Evil sisters. I guess I've been calling them stepsisters because they're the exact model of evil stepsisters, but they're not. They're her sisters.
We'll see to it this Beast who treats her so well dies.
But the evil sisters are just like mad that she's happy. So they're like, huh, if we keep her here longer than she's supposed to be here, the Beast might actually die of loneliness.
All we need do is keep her here longer than a week.
Let's do that.
I'm just so thrilled to have our dear sister home with us again.
So they're like overly nice to Beauty even though they've never been nice to her.
Please, Beauty, don't go.
Okay, dial it back.
Perhaps the magic of the Beast is letting you feel these things after all these years.
Damn, and Beauty knows that her sisters have been awful this whole time, so she's just like, I guess it must be, like, magic or something, because you're actually being nice for once.
I suppose I could stay 1 more day.
So they convince her to stay for another couple of days. The next day, they're like, you can't go home now.
At least go skating with us.
We have to go ice skating.
Oh, can you ever forgive us, Beauty?
Let's just think about how happy we are now.
So that's no.
Oh, ah!
This one falls down and they just, like, start arguing back and forth. It's super boring.
Now, girls, let's not bicker. I'll go buy us some roasted chestnuts.
And then Beauty skates off to go buy them chestnuts. It feels like they wanted her to just, like, go buy snacks like she was at, like, a theme park, and then they realized this was, like, the Baroque period. So they were just like, chestnuts. That's what people in the olden days ate, right?
Clara!
And then Clara shows up and is like, why the hell aren't you back yet?
What are you doing here?
Trying to save Beast's life, as if you cared. Just twist the ring and we'll return to the castle.
And then, like, this is what I'm saying. Beauty doesn't even decide to go back to the castle on her own volition that time around. Clara turns the ring for her. So she finds the Beast on the balcony, dying, because unlike the original where Gaston dramatically stabs him in a showdown, this time the Beast is just like, oh, I'm sad.
You forgot your promise to me.
I didn't mean to.
He hasn't even known her for that long. I'm so confused.
But I die happily. At least I knew you for a short time.
Yeah, this feels like gaslighting for sure.
I would marry you, Beast. I would be your wife.
And then Beauty's like, damn, if only you weren't dying, I'd totally marry you. And then the Beast, who's like, taking his last breath, is like, marry, huh?
I dreamt I heard the words I have waited so long to hear.
But where is my Beast?
And then she asks, where is the Beast, before he's even, like, changed back into the prince.
Many years ago, a spell was placed on me by an evil fairy.
But he changes back, and then apparently the lady that's been telling Beauty that he's a murderer this whole time is just the evil witch who put a curse on him.
Get it, you miserable wretch? Your spell's been broken and now you're powerless.
Who's just been lying because she'll, like, lose her powers or something if he changes back. Again, who needs, like, a moral about, like, being a good person on the inside and how, like, outer beauty doesn't mean anything? Who needs a moral in childhood? No one.
You're the evil fairy?
Ah, my evil sister.
Again, why didn't you do anything? You probably could have broken the curse. There must have been something you could have done. And then Beauty's dress changes. The prince's eyebrows turn blonde for a couple of seconds. And then they dance. And they do a kiss, and that's the end. Wasn't that terrible? Like, the original is just so lovely and sweet, and this is just a crime. I hated this from start to finish. But yeah, let me know if you want to see more of these terrible knockoffs from Goodtimes Home Video, because there's a lot of them. I'll link a whole playlist that I found if you feel like torturing yourself today. I don't know. But yeah, that's it for this video, guys. Thank you for being here. Thank you for watching, liking, commenting, subscribing, sharing. Everything you do to support this channel means the world to me. If you're new here and you're a fan of nonsense, maybe consider sticking around. I post nonsense all the time. And remember, my name is Avery. I'm a YouTuber if you say so, because thanks to you guys, this is technically a YouTube channel. Bye. I'm so exhausted. It's just so bad.